tonight, the Atlanta Dream set the record for the biggest crowd to watch a WNBA game in Georgia history.
Imagine a venue that usually holds 3,500 people suddenly bursting at the seams with over 17,000 fans. That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark came to town. What's behind this rookie's magical ability to draw record-breaking crowds? Think you know the full story of Caitlin Clark's rise? Well, let's see. This college superstar didn't just step into the pros, she's sparking a revolution. How is one rookie forcing entire teams to change their game plans? Let's talk about the CC effect. It's not just a catchy phrase, it's a phenomenon that's turning the WNBA upside down. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's redefining what it means to be a star in women's sports. Remember those college highlights that had everyone buzzing? Clark wasn't just good, she was breaking records left and right. Then there's the skeptics who thought her appeal might fizzle in the pros. Ha, were they wrong? Fast forward to her WNBA debut, and Clark's not just living up to the hype, she's shattering expectations. We're talking packed arenas, sold out merchandise, and a level of excitement the league hasn't seen in years. It's like every game she plays turns into a must-see event. Hey guys, before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you like this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Imagine what we could accomplish if everyone subscribed. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. Thanks so much. So let's put this CC effect into perspective. While Clark's game in Georgia drew a whopping 17,575 fans, a recent game featuring the legendary Diana Taurasi only pulled in 3,200. That's not a typo, folks. We're talking about a rookie outdrawing one of the greatest players in WNBA history by more than 5 times.
Pretty exciting. One of the big reasons fans flock to State Farm Arena is, of course, the Caitlin Clark effect.
It's not just about the numbers. Clark's presence is forcing teams to think bigger, literally. Take the Atlanta Dream, for example. They usually play in a cozy 3,500 seat venue. But with Clark coming to town, they had to move to a much larger arena just to meet the demand. It's like trying to fit a tidal wave into a kiddie pool. It just won't work. And it's not just Atlanta. Everywhere Clark goes, teams are scrambling to find bigger venues. It's like she's single-handedly changing the WNBA's real estate market. 1 minute, a 3,500 seat arena is just fine. The next, teams are eyeing stadiums that can hold 4 or 5 times that many fans. The CC effect isn't just about filling seats. It's about changing perceptions. For years, critics have downplayed women's basketball, claiming it can't draw big crowds or generate excitement. Clark is proving them wrong game after game. You might be wondering, what makes her so special? It's not just her skill on the court, though that's undeniable. It's her ability to captivate audiences. As one podcast put it, when she's in town, that's the hottest ticket in town. It's like she's got this magnetic pull that turns casual fans into diehard supporters. And the impact goes even deeper. Clark isn't just entertaining fans, she's inspiring a whole new generation. Young girls are watching her play and thinking, that could be me someday. And why not? It's not just kids. Adults who never gave women's basketball a second thought are suddenly tuning in, curious to see what all the fuss is about. Clark's talent is clear, but talent alone doesn't fill arenas. So how did the Atlanta Dream turn a rookie's visit into the hottest ticket in Georgia? They're rewriting the WNBA marketing playbook, and the results are mind-blowing.
Whether it's Iowa, the Fever, or even both, the 22 Caitlin Clark jerseys were all across State Farm Arena Monday.
The Atlanta Dream just pulled off a marketing move so bold, it's got the whole league talking. While most teams play it safe, the Dream went all in on Caitlin Clark's star power. They didn't just promote the game, they turned it into an event. So get this, hype videos flooding social media, billboards lighting up the city, and radio spots blasting non-stop. The Dream's marketing team wasn't just working overtime, they were redefining what WNBA promotion looks like, and they weren't even hyping up their own player. This was all for an opposing team's rookie. Now you might be thinking, isn't that risky? You bet it is. Most teams wouldn't dream of giving this much attention to a rival star, but the Dream saw something different. They didn't see a threat, they saw an opportunity. The Dream didn't stop at marketing. They took a massive gamble on Clark's draw. Remember that cozy 3,500 seat Gateway Center they usually call home? They ditched it. Instead, they booked a venue big enough to handle the Clark-sized wave they were betting on. This move wasn't just ambitious, it was downright gutsy. Booking a larger arena means higher costs, more staff, and a whole lot of empty seats if things don't pan out.
I came to see Caitlin Clark tonight. Oh, gotta watch number 22.
For a WNBA team where every dollar counts, this kind of financial risk isn't just unusual, it's practically unheard of. But the Dream's gamble didn't stop there. They didn't just book a slightly bigger venue. They went all out, securing a space that could hold nearly 5 times their usual crowd. It's like trading in your family sedan for a tour bus. Sure, you might need the space, but what if you don't? Yikes! The marketing frenzy and the venue switch created a perfect storm of hype. Suddenly, everyone was talking about this game. It wasn't just basketball fans, it was the whole city of Atlanta. The Dream had turned a regular season WNBA game into the must-see event of the year. Okay, so remember how we said this was a gamble? Well, early signs showed the Dream might have just hit the jackpot.
I've been watching Caitlin for a couple of years, and since then I've dreamed about coming to a game.
Before the game even tipped off, they were selling standing room tickets. Let that sink in. They moved to a massive arena and they still didn't have enough seats. The media coverage was off the charts. Local news, sports radio, even national outlets were buzzing about this game. One commentator called it insanity. And they weren't talking about the play on the court. This was all about the unprecedented demand for tickets. The real magic of the Dream strategy? They didn't just sell tickets, they created an experience. They turned what could have been just another game into a historic event. People weren't just coming to watch basketball, they were coming to be part of something bigger. The Dream's marketing team summed it up perfectly. When Caitlin Clark comes to town, not only are we selling out the arena, we need to sell standing room tickets only to get that sellout. It wasn't just hype, it was reality. We're not just talking about one player or one game anymore. This Clark-sized wave is hitting the shores of women's basketball hard. Is it strong enough to change the tide for good? Let's break down what this really means for the future of the sport. Caitlin Clark isn't just breaking attendance records, she's shattering expectations and reshaping the entire landscape of women's basketball. We're talking about an impact so big, it's drawing comparisons to some of the most iconic phenomena in sports history. Think about the Yankee effect or the Lakers effect. Those moments when a team or player becomes so magnetic, they transform their entire sport. That's what we're seeing with Clark. Clark's influence isn't just filling seats, it's potentially filling bank accounts across the league. We're talking increased viewership, more sponsorships, and maybe even bigger paychecks for players. It's like Clark's star power is creating a rising tide that could lift all boats in the WNBA. You might be wondering, can this level of hype really last? It's a fair question. After all, we've seen plenty of flash-in-the-pan moments in sports. Clark's impact goes way beyond just one season. She's not just entertaining fans, she's inspiring an entire generation of young athletes. It's not just about today's games, it's about planting seeds for the future of women's basketball. Clark's success could be the spark that ignites a whole new wave of talent and interest in the sport. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The WNBA is facing a real challenge here. What happens when Clark isn't playing? Can they keep this momentum going? It's like they've caught lightning in a bottle, and now they need to figure out how to keep that energy flowing. That's where the real work begins. The league needs to capitalize on this moment, using Clark's star power as a launching pad for long-term growth. We're talking about building a sustainable fan base, attracting more media coverage, and proving once and for all that women's basketball deserves the spotlight. Experts are saying Clark's impact could be the key to unlocking a whole new level of respect and recognition for women's basketball. One analyst put it this way: Caitlin Clark is not only box office on TV, but also in person, making her the hottest ticket in town. That's not just hype, that's a game changer. Think about it, if Clark can consistently draw crowds that rival men's sports, it changes the whole conversation around women's athletics. Suddenly, it's not about whether women's sports can be popular, it's about how popular they can become. Clark's influence isn't just about filling arenas, it's about changing perceptions. Every time she steps on the court, she's proving that women's basketball can be just as thrilling, just as competitive, and just as worthy of attention as any other sport. Thanks for joining us on this journey through one of the most thrilling chapters in sports history. Stay tuned. Please share your thoughts in the comments section. In order to stay up to date on everything from women's basketball to other topics, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go!